Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It is Tuesday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. Action-packed, full card today. No afternoon action. Got some really good spots out here that we can try to dig on. Let's welcome into the show. I'm Donnie Seymour, Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance. We are the sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball team. Last night, my value plays dumped me right on my head, but tonight, coming back with a play of the day I'm feeling good about, and I think I have a tag team partner tonight, Jason.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day, especially when you and I are on the same game, the same wager. That's always really fun. We'll get to that shortly, but yeah, I did hit another official play last night with the Rays over 2.5 in the team total. Of course, I told you guys if you weren't able to get that, go get that 4.5 in the first 5 for both teams, and that cashed as well. Plenty of runs in that game, 17 runs throughout the entire game, and the Rays actually came back and won. But again, this is why we talk about taking team totals over taking sides. The Rays, they were up 4-0, then up 4-1, 5-1, then it became 5-5. Then the Rays were down a couple runs, had to call their way back into the game, and ended up winning in the 9th inning with 2 runs. You don't need to sweat that after we get that grand slam from Brandon Lau, and I'm just happy that Brandon Lau was the one that stayed, and I know Lowe left, so just happy Lau stayed to give me that grand slam. Really happy that worked out in my favor. But yeah, it seems like I never get those like grand slam finishers right off the bat. It was just a great day overall.
No, it certainly was. We'll see if we can get after it tonight here. And Kyle, like some pretty good spots across Major League Baseball. I know in our back chat here today. I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. Are you in on some play of the days tonight?
I'm in on some plays of the day. And, besides the Cubs sucking it up last night, we were saved by the Tigers. And I'm trying to think, which tag team would you guys be? Would you guys be the Rockers, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty? You trying to go Hart Foundation, Jim the Anvil, Brett the Hitman?
Maybe best friends from AEW. You never know.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's not bad. I haven't seen any AEW, so I don't know much about them. But you guys could be like the New Jack tag team, do the hardcore stuff. I like it.
Yes.
But there are some good stuff. There is some good stuff out here on today's card. I know we went back and forth, and a lot of the stuff you guys like, I like as well. But I can't cheat like that, so I'm going to go another crappy team tonight. Actually 2 crappy teams tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you to the Tigers last night. Today's show should be a lot of fun.
It should be a lot of fun. And also, guys, it is a lot of fun. Winning a lot of money, a $20,000 Bitcoin contest up for grabs right here at sportsbookreview.com. If you look at the top of the chat box, there is a yellow logo. It says SBR Sports Picks. Click on that for more details. But you know what's easier than that? Watching a video explaining it all to you. Check out Lee Martin right here on our sportsbookreview.com contest.
The free $20,000 MLB 10 Runs for Free Cash contest is now live at SBRforum.com. What is the contest? It's simple. Each day in a designated SBR Forum post, you pick one team that you think will score 10 or more runs that day. You qualify to win $100 that day if you are correct. Each day the game continues, you pick another team. And every time your team scores 10 runs, you'll be adding onto your total score. The contest is split into 3 segments, and at the end of each segment, the top scorers split $2,500. And at the conclusion of the contest, there's even more cash up for grabs, in total over $20,000. And I know what you're thinking. You can just pick the Yankees every day and win. No, you can only pick the same team once per week. Check out the link in the description for more info, and see you in the SBR forum for the contest.
All right, how about that? List of contest. If it's free, it's me. 20,000 up for grabs. Enjoy it. Get in. See if you can win some money. But we got a Major League Baseball card to get after today. But before we do that, 86,000. Like this isn't a replay show here. I'm saying it again. 86,900 subscribers. Can we get to 87,000? If anybody out there watching right now, whether it's the NBA shows, the soccer shows, whatever, push that button, subscribe, get the notifications, because when we go live to talk Major League Baseball, you can come in here and let us know what you're on tonight and what you think is about to happen, because we're about to get after it right now. Let's take a look. 8 o'clock tonight, actually 8:10 Eastern, 971, 972. That is Rodon and Barrios, the White Sox and the Twins. Across the diamond here, Jason, opened up offshore, -110. Now sits at -118 at Pinnacle. In New Jersey, opened up at -112 as a favorite towards the White Sox. That one now sits a little bit higher at -124. Nines have turned into eights, Jason. What gives in this game? White Sox, Twins.
Yeah, both pitchers struggled in their last outing against one another. You had Barrios went 5 innings, allowed 10 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 1 home run, had 1 walk, 0 strikeouts in 5 innings for Barrios. You would think that he wants to, start impressing some teams with the deadline approaching. 0 strikeouts, 5 innings, 10 hits, not going to get the job done there. And Rodon also, he's had a great year, but his last 2 starts now allowed 7 earned runs in those 2 starts, 10 innings pitched. Against the Twins, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, still got those 9 strikeouts. So I think Rodon's the better pitcher. I like the White Sox more. Obviously, both of these pitchers, they might, get hit in this game. The stats don't really show that, but there's potential that both pitchers get slugged over. So I'd be careful with this game. Both teams have a chance to win. Both offenses kind of do damage, but also on paper, the pitchers do look better. Although I will say Barrios, he has been really rough against lefties this season. And if you look at that lineup, you'll probably see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lefties in the lineup. So something to look at for the White Sox if you want to take that team total over.
Yeah, we got some rain and weather conditions in this game. If they wait it out, they can probably play here, Kyle. But this is one of the games a lot of the times before they even take first pitch, like an hour and a half before the game. All right, you know what? Let's call it. Let's get to a doubleheader. Because if you had maybe, the Twins were playing the Mets and they only come to town one time, they probably would get this game in, but maybe not. But we're still going to talk about it because if it does go off, it does have some interesting sides here. Sox and Twins from your perspective here, Kyle.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. The weather situation. That's why I wouldn't jump all over and bet this game early. I'd wait and make sure they're actually going to play it. Another thing to keep an eye on is that White Sox lineup, right? Will they have Grandal? Will they have Moncada in that lineup? Both those guys a little bit banged up. So we just have to know it's the hand for Moncada, and he left his last game, the calf strain, for Grandal. If they don't have those 2 guys, I want nothing to do with the White Sox. I don't care who's pitching. And Radowitz talks about this all the time in our chat box quite astutely. If Grandal's not catching, I want nothing to do with the White Sox. I'd want to see this lineup first, want to make sure the game is going to play. If the game does play and both Grandal and Moncada are out, then you might be looking at a little spot here where maybe the Twins are live for you. Get that, slight underdog spot. I wouldn't mind that on the Twins if both of them are out. But check the weather, check that lineup before you can really jump on, in my opinion, the White Sox team total or anything else. I would want to see both of those guys in the lineup for the White Sox.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at because I agree with the line movement here. I think the Chicago White Sox are the play 10 if it gets underway because we take a look at Jose Barrios, does very well against right-handed batters, but gets shelled against lefties. Anticipated lineup tonight, Moncada, lefty, Goodwin, lefty, Sheets, lefty, Eaton, lefty, Garcia, lefty, and Collins, a lefty. So if I'm just looking for an added advantage in this game, the left-handed bats do stack up very well against Barrios. The only question is if this game is actually going to play tonight. But again, looking at that line movement moving up a little bit higher, and I agree, the White Sox should be the favorite in this one, the better baseball team. Let's keep moving down. Oakland and Houston, Bassett versus Valdez, the lefty on the mound. Houston at home opened up offshore here, Jason, a minus 148 favorite at Pinnacle. Now sits at 152. In New Jersey, opened up at 158, still currently sits at 158. So depending on where you're shopping at, somewhere it looks like that is going to land in the 150s. 8.5 across the board tonight. 2 decent-looking pitchers here, Jason, entering into this one.
Yeah, Bassett, in his last 30 days, he does have an xFIP that's just under a 5 at 4.99, striking out just 20.8% of batters, walking 7.5%. He has been lucky. Batting average balls in play sitting at 211, so that's where he's been able to get out of damage. This is a guy where he'll bend, but he never really breaks. So you'll probably get maybe 2 runs out of him, through 5, 6, so he can go 7 innings. You'll get maybe 2 runs, but like nothing more for the most part. But this is a lineup for the Astros that they have potential to do a little bit more damage. They're a better offense. Obviously, they're without a couple of key guys in that lineup, like Bregman, for example. But Altuve will be in there. Gurriel will be there. Alvarez will be there. Correa will be there. Straws look pretty good getting on base. Even McCormick has as well. So I think the Astros are the better team here. I think you can get them with the team total. It would be a little bit sweaty towards the end, but I think that they're capable of doing that. And I wouldn't go against Oakland either. Oakland, their bats aren't that great, as Kyle will point out to you guys every show. But they do have some guys in that lineup that can do damage against lefties, although Framber's been really good throughout the entire season. And last year, it's hard to go up against Valdez, but I do think that they could at least contribute to the offense or contribute to runs to get this game to go over, since it's already at just 8. So I feel like that's a low number for both of these offenses. I think they can get there. But if I'm going to choose a side, I'd rather look at the Astros here in this game.
Yeah, if we're taking a look here, Kyle, going up against Bassett, a 420 xFIP, which isn't all that bad. He has very good numbers here between lefties and righties with a weighted on base average. But looking at the lineup here for the Astros tonight, as they look towards right-handed pitching, Altuve 344 weighted on base average, Straw 328, Gurriel 362, Alvarez 397, Correa 371, and McCormick 385. So some decent bats in the lineup. I know Jason's looking more towards the over in this situation. As we know, the people of Houston, very delicate when they go to the ballpark. Any rain and anything above 80, got to have that roof shut here, Kyle. So that's going to keep the ball down.
Yeah, this one was interesting, and I kind of went back and forth on this. When I looked at it, I'm like, ooh, you're getting kind of a nice number here on the Astros, minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 105. You sort of look at the recent history on what Bassett has done against Houston and what Valdez has done against Oakland. Bassett, his last 2 starts, has absolutely gotten torched. In fact, 3 of his last 4 outings, he hasn't looked great against Oakland or against Houston. And then you look at Valdez, he's been very, very good in his last 2 starts against Oakland and been very good overall. It's the 4th lowest 3-year weighted OPS in terms of starting pitching versus a lineup that I could see. I'm just a little bit concerned. I wish a couple of more components were in that Astros lineup, so it makes it a little tough for me. Both these pitchers have been very, very good over the past 45 days. So one plus money spot that I looked at that kind of makes sense is under 4 runs in the first 5 innings at plus 105. I could see both starting pitchers coming out here and holding these lineups down. Little plus money spot, take the under 4 runs. It's not even at that 3.5, so it can be 2-1, and you still cash your bet here. So that's where I'm looking at this. Under 4 runs in the first 5 innings at plus 105, I think is a nice plus money spot today.
Yeah, interesting look. I mean, 2 teams that are going to be vying for first place for the rest of the season, so we'll certainly see how that one comes to fruition. Late night, again, out on the West Coast, 9:38 first pitch here for us East Coasters, 9:75, 9:76. Boston and the Los Angeles Angels. Eovaldi versus the MVP of the American League, Shohei Ohtani. 9.5s and 9s turned to 8.5s across the board. If we're taking a look at a favorite perspective, you opened up as a slight favorite here. Minus 111, minus 110 here towards the Los Angeles Angels. But now we're taking a look as Boston flipping over as a favorite. The reason behind that, Ohtani needs a bounce-back effort here on the mound, but also I do like the way Boston's lineup looks as opposed to the way the Angels lineup looks tonight, Jason, out west. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I've never bet an Ohtani start before, and I'm not going to do it today. It's so hard because he's not going to go deep in these games. Like, he's got great stuff, but his walks are still really high, and does allow solid hard contact once there is contact against him. So it's so hard to go up against him. It's so hard to go for him. And then obviously when he's taken out of the game, he's not hitting anymore. It's so difficult there. So I think the Red Sox are the team here. Obviously, look at the relief pitching for the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th innings maybe. So yeah, I would go the Red Sox here in this game, and I would assume that the public is probably going to be backing Ohtani. So a little fade the public spot there, if you will.
Yeah, it's always tough to go against, explosive pitcher like Ohtani, but you're right. Theoretically, they're not expecting him to go 8 innings in this one. If we take a look even from Ohtani being on the mound here, Kyle, a lefty, 3.85 xFIP, very good. High strikeout numbers, 33% of the batters he faces, he strikes out. But looking at the lineup tonight, or at least the projected lineup for the Red Sox, Kyle, low strikeouts here, at least to start the lineup. 16%, 16%, 13%, 18%, 20%, and 18%. They're 1 through 6 where they've done damage here. Is it just waiting out Ohtani and then trying to get to that bullpen? Because keep in mind, once again, you're getting nice weather out here in L.A. tonight, Kyle.
Yeah, I like the Red Sox, and I sort of wonder, too, with Ohtani. I like him as a pitcher. I obviously think he's the front runner for MVP. But he's got a busy week ahead of him, doesn't he? It's just announced he's going to be in the home run derby. He's going to be playing. He's going to be hitting in the All-Star game, and they're going to pitch him in the All-Star game. It feels like a lot of distractions and a lot of big stuff coming up for a young player who's already doing a lot. Then you tack on, hey, this Angels bullpen isn't very, very good. In fact, they're very, very bad. I sort of like the Red Sox here. Eovaldi does not profile poorly against this Angels lineup. He's actually been fairly decent his last couple of starts against them. 3 of his last 5 starts overall, he's been very, very good. We did see Ohtani sort of get lit up by the Yankees last week. I'm leaning the Red Sox here, and this is another one, we don't love side. I think the Red Sox team total is absolutely live, especially with that Angels bullpen, and we don't expect Ohtani to go 8 innings. But you're also getting a minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings at plus 115. I think you could do a whole lot worse on this card in a plus money spot than taking the Red Sox against a possibly, I won't say he's overwhelmed, but that's a lot of stuff for a young guy to start thinking about. He's getting a lot of press, a lot of different stuff. I like the Red Sox here. I think their team total is absolutely live. I like that quite a bit. And I wouldn't mind a little plus money spot in the minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings as well.
I'm going to get some T-shirts up of Shohei Ohtani for MVP. If you remember a couple years ago, back in my earlier days at SBR, Andrew Triggs, I was trying to make a push for MVP for the Oakland Athletics as a pitcher, but that one didn't work out all that well. But at least it was fun to have. But flip it down. Some value menu wagers, as I said last night, I got dumped right on my head. And it was bad right from the beginning with teams were scoring and leaving men on base, and you see where that's going through. And it didn't help me out that much. But the good thing, there were value menu wager plays because it didn't lose that much. Ended up losing $100 last night, which I don't ever want to lose any money, but that's ridiculous. Coming back tonight with something strong. Value menu wager play for me today. I'm going right back to the city of Chicago. And I'm not going with the Cubs tonight. I'm going with my Philadelphia Phillies. Reason being, you're getting a carbon copy of yesterday. 88 degrees at first pitch. Wind blowing dead out to center field at about 10 miles an hour. Jake Arrieta on the mound. How did he fare last game? Remember us doing a show live? Like, yo, man, don't matter if the Cubs are up here. Arrieta still got to take the mound. And within like 3 innings, he erased a 7-run lead all by himself. I think we might get a lot of the similar type stuff tonight. So if we're looking from a betting perspective, it's a little bit juicy here. 4.5 minus 150 for the Philadelphia Phillies. If you want to take it up to that 5.5 at plus money or 5 with a little bit of juice, I do think they get that done. This is a team in the Chicago Cubs also. 10 straight losses. It's now no longer, are we adding on? It's, will Rizzo be a Yankee? Will Chris Bryant be on a different team? Is Craig Kimbrell going to be closing for another organization within a matter of 30 days? That's what we're looking forward to now, the Cubs. This is a dead team walking, and Jake Arrieta certainly is not a stopper tonight. Aaron Nola on the mound. I do think the Phillies win overall, but there's no reason to believe the Phillies aren't getting 5 runs off Arrieta and that weather tonight in Chicago. That's my value menu wager. What are you looking at tonight, Jason, on your value card?
Yeah, so it's a late night game for the Yankees against the Mariners. The Yankees, they're 1 game away from going to 500. This is a big series for the Yankees. Really, it's going to be a big week for the Yankees. They got to get back on track before the All-Star break, and they know it, and I think they're going to perform. Justice Sheffield will be on the mound for the Mariners. His last 30 days, 5.56 xFIP, striking out 17.5% of batters, walking 11.1%, low ground balls, lots of hard contact, 47% there. And in its last 56 plate appearances against the righties, 4.08 weighted OBA, ISO 333, striking out under 20% of batters and getting just 31% of ground balls against righties. You go to this Yankees lineup, and sure, I know they haven't hit the ball like they're supposed to, but it's going to be a lineup of 9 righties going up against Sheffield, who's been awful against righties all season long. He's walking guys, he's allowing hard contact, less ground balls. I know we're playing in T-Mobile Park with the Mariners. It's not, hitting ballpark whatsoever, but still, the Yankees, this lineup should do some damage. Judge in there, Sanchez, Stanton, they've all kind of been unlucky so far in terms of batting average balls in play. They've hit with hard contact. They're just not getting, they're not getting on base. So this lineup, it looks really good on paper. LeMahieu, Judge, Sanchez, Stanton, Voit, Torres, Urshela, and Duarte LeCastro. The guy from the Diamondbacks has some speed, get on the base paths, create some havoc, something that the Yankees never had this season. They should be able to score some runs. So I'm on the Yankees over 2.5 in the team total in the first 5. And then also, if you can't get that, I put a little bit of money on the Yankees over 4.5 on the team total as well. So riding with both those for the Yankees with the value play.
No, by the way, 2 things here. I do agree. Sometimes when you're getting under pressure in New York, where do you want to go? The furthest place away? Well, you can't get any much further than Seattle going for the Yankees. So maybe they do wake up at this time. Now, by the way, a lot of people in the chat box, very keen eyes here because they are correct. There's a lot of Nats talk out here. Now, forget about the Nats money line. I could care less about that. If some of these numbers come out, because I could give it away as a value play or a best bet, even though it's completely circled on my card, because we don't really have official numbers here. Sure, we have a side and we have a total, but they're going to wait to see when the pictures are finalized, actually what the team totals will be. Because, Kyle, I don't know if you were even on your radar looking forward to this, but to be honest with you, this is one of the best looking lineups in baseball tonight if the Nationals go with their anticipated lineup. But I can't give you guys, hey, just take it whatever it is. I'm not going to do that to you.
Exactly.
But I have to say, it might be Twitter field, Kyle, where we'd have to release this later because it looks good. Go ahead. What's your value tonight? Just wanted to bring that up.
And just to touch on that, I mean, you've got massive advantages in the middle of that lineup for Washington. It's actually the team with the most players in my cheat sheet sort of premier DFS plays that I have tonight. You go Castro, Turner, Harrison, Zimmerman, Soto, up and down, even Young Gomes in the 6th spot if he does indeed hit. all of them have massive advantages over that can Weathers tonight. So I completely agree with you on the Nationals. It's just hard to figure out what the actual number is going to be and how that's all going to work out. On my value menu, I'm going back to another can of a team, and they didn't look great last night, but this is a complete fade of Jose Urena. He might be, and let's cue up the no-hitter tonight for him, the worst pitcher in baseball. I mean, this guy, I might have to get a Jose Urena tramp stamp after this. But Texas should be able to get it done tonight. Their team total is at 4.5 at -130. I love the lefties, and shout out to my boy Jason for reminding me that it was loud at left and not low, because I swear to you, I had that completely backwards again today. I don't know what the hell's going on. Low left. And these lefties in the Texas lineup profile nicely. Even some of the righties, guys like Eli White, etc. I know these are guys we don't mention very often, but the Rangers should be able to hit tonight. I also like the Joey Gallo home run prop. I think he can go a yard off this kid. Urena is so bad. If the Rangers can't get 5 runs tonight off of that bullpen and this starting pitcher, I don't know what they're doing in Major League Baseball. And the best part is that they're at home. They're absolutely terrible on the road. They're solid-ish, near 500 at home, score far more runs at home. So give me that Rangers team total over 4.5 -130 on the value menu.
All right, there we go. I like that, looking at those little salty teams. We'll see how long Joey Gallo actually is going to be a Texas Ranger as well. But we got some of the smartest chat box chatters out there picking up some of these stuff that we really like to look at as well. And I do see that Vital says birds chirping, and someone said the Blue Jays are 20-2 as a day off. Day off, no day off today. You better wear your hard hat if you're sitting in the outfield seats to left field tonight, because it's coming for the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll get into that a little bit, but why don't we get to some best bets on the Major League Baseball card? And since, I got a tag team affair tonight here with Jason, there's no need for me to take up all too much time. And we are going to go to the Midwest, going to a game. It's going to be 88 degrees at first pitch, about 9 miles an hour blowing out. And that is going to be the Cincinnati Reds team total. There's 2 choices you can make in this. BetMGM, 5.5 plus 100. If you want that, I think they do get the 6 runs. But I'm going to take the 4.5 at -155. Just get me to the 5th run. Now, the reason I like this game overall, and I keep it short and simple, sometimes when you take a look at pitchers that aren't that good, beating Bubic here, 117 xFIP minus. If we take a look at his FIP minus is a 146, close to a 5 ERA, FIP of 6.12, Sierra of close to 5 even. That means he's going to get lit up. So you say to yourself, okay, well, what's the added advantages here? He hasn't gone more than 6 innings since May the 28th. Look at his card. 4 innings, 4 1/3, 4 2/3, 2.2 innings, 2 1/3, 2/3 of an inning, 4 innings. He's not going to get out of the 5th inning. I'm getting 9 full at-bats here from the Cincinnati Reds. And, if he exits after 4, probably means he already gave up 4 runs. You get to feast on that bullpen for the Kansas City Royals in hot hitting weather. Tonight, play of the day. Reds, 4.5 -155. BetMGM. Already bet it. Already said it. I'm going to forget it because it's going to be a W. What are you looking at, Jason?
I'm on the same thing. Reds over 4.5 on the team total at -155 via MGM. Just like Donnie said, first and foremost, you're going to have wind blowing out all 8-9 miles per hour to left field. And we're going to have 7 right-handed batters most likely in that lineup. And, Bubic is allowing a ton of pull hitting when it comes from the left side to the righty. So a lot of pull hitting is going to go to left field. And in that wind, in the hot heat, should see a lot of bombs. If you guys saw Eugenio Suarez last night hit an absolute bomb yesterday, that should happen again today with a couple of those bats. But this lineup, India should be back. We had a sore ankle yesterday, but expecting him back in the lineup. Castellanos, Stevenson, Aquino, they've all been really hot against lefties so far this year in terms of ISO and weighted OBA. Also, Lopez, he might be in the game. The biggest thing really is the Reds are going to be on the road, right? So they're going to have a designated hitter. They won't have to worry about the pitcher hitting. That's huge right there as well. Bubic against righties, 441 weighted OBA the last 60 plate appearances, 426 ISO. He's allowing over 2 home runs per 9 innings. So again, the Reds should destroy. Those righties should have a ton of home runs to that left side. And even Winker, if you look at Winker, he actually had a home run against him last year. It was opposite field to left field where he hit that home run. This is a lineup that it's just half the team they faced him last year. They're hitting 5 of 13 with Castellanos, Farmer, Suarez, Votto, Winker, 433 average, OPS of 1.400, slugging 967, OBP 433 as well. So lots to like in this Reds lineup. They should be able to get the job done against Bubic. And of course also the bullpen as well. They struggled last night with the Reds scoring, I think, 4 or 5 runs in the 7th inning. So that was big. We're going with the Reds over 4.5 on the team total at -155.
Boom. We love that. Tag teaming it up right. And also maybe get a running mate here with Kansas City at home. But we always like to take a road team in hot weather hitting conditions, getting those full 9 at-bats, no matter what happens here. Best bet and bankers on your card here tonight. Kyle, where you headed to?
Hey, and I just thought about it. Why the hell did I just let you guys be the Mega Powers? You could be Hulk and Macho Man. You're going to have to wear one of those hats I did last week, and those Mega Powers. Just hopefully there's no Miss Elizabeth to break you guys up. I have names for her. Anyways, let's move along here. And I'm going to go with Jason's New York Mets team total over 3.5. It's juiced up a little bit here at -155. Look, Brett Anderson, nothing to be afraid of here. And the good thing about this Mets lineup, yes, they're flooded with lefties, but those lefties are actually pretty solid against lefties. Lindor is a little bit more powerful from the right-hand side as well. If you're looking for a juiced up, like, holy crap, can this guy do it? I actually don't mind a Lindor home run prop. I really do like the Pete Alonso home run prop tonight. When you look at the 3-year weighted advantages here, we've got 1, 27, 2, 10, 26, 13, and 16%. Even Michael Conforto, who's of course better against righties, only by a little bit, only by about 10 points, a 706 weighted 3-year OPS versus lefties over the last 3 years. And Brett Anderson has actually been hit harder by lefties than he has against righties. I think the Mets make sense today. If you want plus money, you can get him at +110 over 4.5 runs. Let's just take the safe route here. We're trusting the Mets. We don't want to get too crazy. They don't score a lot of runs. Only them and the Pirates are the only 2 teams without 300 runs scored yet this year. But I do like that Mets team total over 3.5. That's my official play tonight.
Yeah, buddy. And by the way, Kyle, the Orange Cassidy of the sports or the wrestling firm today for sportsbookreview.com. Kyle doesn't probably know who that is, but if anybody in the chat box knows Orange Cassidy, that is Kyle. That's my guy right there. We're going to be cashing in tonight. But why don't we hit the odds lightning round? Because I got to tell you, I circled a lot of games on the card today that had some interesting spots in it, and it's a matter of trust here. And Atlanta Braves, you lost all of my trust last night. So, Jason, I'm going to come to you. Anderson's on the mound. He's a better pitcher than Chad Kuhl. We're looking at -181s to -195s here in New Jersey. Total up from 8.5 to 9, and I agree with it. I look at Atlanta. I circled Atlanta today, and I say they're 4.5 at -140. Why can't they do it? They had the same pitcher basically on the mound last night. They couldn't do anything. 1 run in that game. You've got to be kidding me. I do think they bounce back tonight. I do think they hit their team total, but I wasn't willing to back them with any cash tonight, Jason.
Yeah, look, the Braves, they just released their lineup, and it's just it's not great after the first, 4 hitters. You got Acuna, Freeman, Albies, Riley. Then you have Heredia, Swanson, who's really struggled, Arcia, Smith at catcher. There's just not enough there for me to go and take Braves over, for them to score 5 runs if they can't even do it, these other games. But Kuhl, he does have a 6.08 xFIP in his last 30 days, striking out just 13.8%, walking 12.6%. But the thing is, he's not really allowing hard contact, just under 30% of hard contact. So he's been able to kind of keep that down. One of the reasons why he's kind of been able to get out of damage with guys on base. So yeah, I would stay away from this game. I do like the Braves more. If they can get on base, they have to be clutch, and they haven't been clutch recently. It would be hard to rely on them now. But I also would not back Pirates against Anderson, who I think could be an ace in the near future. So I would stay away from this game. If you want to play it, the Braves over makes the most sense, but that lineup really just doesn't do it for me.
All right, kid. Next game we're going to talk about Toronto and Baltimore. It's sitting at 11 at most outlets, and rightfully so in this one because Mats has a chance to get bombed away. Hot, muggy conditions, the wind blowing out in Baltimore. And then Spencer Watkins is on the mound. Spencer with an S there, just like Stanley with a C here, Kyle. What are you looking at? By the way, do you know the reference of a guy that spells his name Stanley with a C and what movie that is?
Oh, God, I'm sure I'm going to be mad when that I can't remember right now, but I'm getting old, so there's a lot of corrosion up here in this brain, you know what I mean?
We'll see if somebody in the chat box gets it. Go ahead.
We'll help us out in the chat box here. So Toronto, Baltimore. Now, I'm not seeing a Baltimore team total at the moment, but I'm telling you, they profile better than they should, better than they do most nights. Mats does not look good. In fact, if you look at a weighted 3-year OPS, in terms of Mats versus this projected lineup tonight, it's a 918. So Baltimore, there should be runs scored by Baltimore.
4 minus 130, Kyle, for
4 minus 130. I think that's live, to be completely honest. Do I think they're going to win the game? No, of course not. It's the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays. That's ridiculous. But I do like both teams' team totals here. Obviously, the Blue Jays are the better team, but neither Matt's or Watkins profiles very nicely. If you want to jump all over that Vladimir Guerrero home run prop, I do not mind it. I have a ton of Toronto tonight in terms of DFS. We're looking at advantages across the board here: 24, 8, 45, 24, 5, 4, and 14. Vladdy Daddy should be able to get a home run tonight. I think he wants to make the case. He's got to do something, because if you're going to cower it out and not be a part of the home run derby and still think you're part of the MVP race, I mean, how embarrassing. Everyone wants to put Vlad up there with Ohtani. Ohtani's like, yeah, I'm going to pitch. I'm going to play in the All-Star game. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to hit in the home run derby while people throw up clips of me bombing balls outside of the roof in the Tokyo Dome. And you're going to sit on your hands week. He needs to get a home run tonight off of this Ken Watkins. I do like it, and he's just a little bit more powerful off of righties. A 954 3-year OPS versus a 906 off of lefties. I like it. And someone says Mancini home run prop, book it. I don't trust Trey Mancini that much, but it could happen tonight. Matz doesn't profile well either. I would lean to an over in this game. I usually don't bet those over 11, so that's why I backed off there. But both teams should score runs. And if you're looking for value in DFS, you're playing FanDuel or DraftKings, and you're looking for some value, you can do a whole lot worse than the Baltimore Orioles tonight. That was a very loud keyboard, by the way. I don't know what you're doing to that keyboard.
That's an anger tweet right there.
Yeah.
That was an angry time. Yes.
The enter button just kind of,
But just for Baltimore, just to kind of give you an example here, we've got advantages of 28, 15, 12, 38, 38, and 38. Trey Mancini is on the cheat sheet here. I do have him on my little home run list. It is live. It's just hard to trust him because sometimes he can just go cold against the worst pitchers.
No, certainly. Jason brings up a good thing in the chat box here. I mean, if you're betting team totals and not using MGM, I mean, I don't know what you're actually doing out here in the streets. So it's very rare that I actually bet anywhere else except for BetMGM when I'm using team totals. Very rarely does FanDuel match up, because you can get that half run and you can pay for it. And how many times you go, oh, man, if I only had the 4.5 instead of the 5. Happens quite a bit during the Major League Baseball season. Let's keep going, Jason. I'm coming right to you here. Mets are at home tonight. DeGrom on the mound versus Anderson. And I'm in agreement. I think the Mets sooner or later are going to wake up, and maybe they do tonight against Anderson, the lefty. You're going to have a decent-looking lineup. Now, whether or not they perform for the Mets is another story. Here's the issue why I did not take this or put this on even the value menu card. I think they do get the 3.5, but here's what I'm worried about tonight. Let's just say Anderson pitches okay through 5 innings, gives up 3 earned runs. Now you're looking at multiple innings from Hader and multiple innings from Williams, who haven't pitched the last few days. That's the only reason why I stayed away. If this was a game where you're profiling a better starting pitcher and a weaker bullpen, I'd have been all over the Mets at 3.5. Do I still think the Mets get the 4 runs? I do, but I wasn't willing to put money down, waiting on those hammers on the back end of that bullpen. And also, we know it's the Mets, right? They're due for 2 runs through 5 innings to see what they can do. What are you looking at tonight on this monster line here that has been dropping, Jason? 295 at FanDuel, now down to 260, and even Offshore Pinnacle, 252 now as a favorite for DeGrom.
Can we shout out the chat box? It's Couples Retreat. That's what it is. Stanley with the C. Then do it.
Right. Who got that, by the way?
Boom. Encouragement. I love that movie. That's freaking. I'm gonna watch it today. I'm watching it today.
Congratulations, you fools. I love it. That's good chat box. Go ahead.
Sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. I like the Mets here. They scored 4 runs last night against Woodruff. Should be able to score 4 against Anderson, who's been really awful all season long. Kyle touched on it really well, and he said most that I would say as well. Anderson really not great against lefties or righties, just an awful pitcher all around. Does get high amount of ground balls, but the Mets, they don't get ground balls against lefties. The last 30 days, I mean, look, the projected lineup, these guys haven't played the last 30 days for a lot of these guys. Nimmo, but at the end of the day, 27.6% ground balls for this projected lineup in the last 30 days with small sample size. So if they're able to keep the ball off the ground, they should have a great day. Anderson, not a really big strikeout guy, so balls will be in play, should be in the air, should be able to fly just a little bit. I know the weather a little bit shaky, but hopefully they can get the game in and help Kyle cash his ticket.
Yeah, I think they will be. And by the way, the story of Kyle's life is he's stuck in the middle of Eden East and Eden West here.
That's
so
true.
if anyone else gets that reference as well, Dodgers
and I'm
in
a
Miami.
bad swimmer, so what the hell? I can't even get over to Eden East.
Oh, I'm going to have to go watch that movie again, man. Dodgers versus Miami here. Gonsolin versus Lopez. 118's opened up offshore here, Kyle, at Pinnacle. Now up to 128 in New Jersey at 134. So anywhere between 25 to 35, depending on what you're willing to pay. 7.5 now moving up to 8. And I don't know if I trust Gonsolin all that much. But then again, if you don't trust Gonsolin, you better be trusting the Miami bats. And sometimes that's a tall tale in order for me to do.
Yeah, and the Marlins almost made my value menu today. Not in terms of a side, of course. We're not that crazy. But over 3.5 minus 105, it's kind of a nice number. And it's a low team total, and Gonsolin's no good. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Now, that means he's probably, as someone so astutely said in the chat box, every time I bag on a pitcher, they go out and throw the game of their life. I'll never understand why that happens or why the universe insists on doing that to me. But, look, I just think Lopez is a little bit better than Gonsolin. Someone asked, first 5, if you're looking for some plus money in the first 5 innings, maybe if you want to be risky and you've got some cojones and you want to take some plus money, take a minus 0.5 in the first 5 at massive plus money, even money on the money line. It's tough to go against the Dodgers against righties. I will say that number seems a little bit low. The Marlins could do this early off of Gonsolin. I like some of the advantages in the lineup for Miami, in particular Adam Duvall, who just had a monster bomb last weekend. But you're looking at, we got 4 or 5 guys here with advantages of 15% or higher: Aguilar, Birdie, Duvall, Marte, and Alfaro. If you're looking for a little bit of value, maybe minus 105 over 3.5 for the Marlins makes a lot of sense. If you're picking a side here, you can only bet the Dodgers in a parlay situation. The number is just way too juiced up for it to be anything worth of any value. Of course, the Dodgers are the better team, but I do think I have a little bit of interest in that Marlins team total over 3.5.
All right, now look at the 2 of the last 3 starts here in the game we're going to get to. Philadelphia and Chicago for Aaron Nola going up against Jake Arrieta. 2 1/3 innings at San Francisco, 6 earned runs. Then he comes back against the Mets, 5 1/3, strikes out 12 and ties the all-time record for strikeouts in a row. Then comes right back against a bad Miami baseball team, 4 2/3, 7 earned runs. Jekyll and Hyde, wind blowing out. I know Arrieta should be able to get touched up, but Aaron Nola might be leaking oil, but that's not what the odds makers think, or should I say the gamblers, setting this line at 118 offshore, now up to 139, 144 here in New Jersey, 10s across the board with that wind blowing out. I think there's a good chance they get the over in this one, but just where the mindset of the Cubs is right now, Jason, has me a little bit worried. If I'm forced to make a play on this, I would take the Philadelphia Phillies. Better pitcher, maybe the better lineup, but overall, I mean, hey, Aaron Nola exits it after the 6th inning in this one. Yeah. It's up in the air again. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, the Phillies should be able to win this game, score against Arrieta. If you look at the Cubs, though, in their last 30 days, they're striking out just about 26% of the time with that projected lineup. So like Nola struck out the Mets, he can do the same thing against the Cubs. And that's what I expect from him in this spot. So if you don't want to pick a side, I do think Nola should be able to, get a strikeout prop. I'm not sure what number that is, but I love that prop. But of course, it is a little bit shaky because the weather is a bump to the bats, and Nola, he's had some shorter outings in the last couple of games as well. So got to be careful there, but I do think he'll be able to strike out the Cubs at a solid rate there. So we'll see what happens. I like the Phillies here. Would I take them in the full game? Probably not. Although the Cubs, they've looked horrible, the last week and a half. So the Cubs don't scare anybody right now. They've looked awful, but we know that eventually they'll return back to form. It's just not happening yet.
All right. Yeah, no, you're exactly correct. And what a difference 2 weeks makes. Are we trading for frontline starting pitching and getting in this thing to make a run at it, and then you go on a 10-game losing streak, and that looks like you're rebuilding for the next 5 years in Chicago? It's amazing what 2 weeks can do. Cubic Connect says, what's up, fam? The Marlins roof will be closed today. There you go. Yep. I remember Cubic Connect saying the roof will be closed in Philadelphia last time around, but certainly that could not be the case. So, hey, it is what it is at this point. We all make mistakes, and now we could certainly have fun and get moving. Kyle, we're going to skip a couple games down. I know your thoughts already on Detroit and Texas, as well as Cincinnati and Kansas City. We've covered that extensively. Let's get some thoughts here on a night game, 9:40 Eastern first pitch, Colorado and Arizona, Gray and Kelly. why you're watching this game at 9:40 tonight in Arizona. I have no idea why, because I don't know if anybody else is, but I know Kyle might have an advantage. What are you looking at?
Yeah, if you're watching this game, if you're watching Colorado area, we need to get you on that.
If you're at that game and instead of at the Suns game, what are you doing with your life?
We need to get you a Tinder. I don't know how to use it, but Jason can walk you through it. Just hit him up on Tinder, how to swipe right and swipe left. But you need one of those damn Tinders if you're watching this bleeping game tonight. So initially you look at it, you're like, okay, it's the Rockies on the road. To me, it's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. They are 6-31 away from Coors Field. That is absolutely abysmal. But then you flip it over and you're like, oh, they're also playing, the second, them and Baltimore are basically tied in terms of win percentage, the worst home team in baseball. So both these teams are absolutely dreadful in their, in their areas. Rockies suck on the road and Arizona sucks at home. Both pitchers have actually been fairly solid lately. Kelly, usually I only pick him when he's playing against the Giants. If you look at his last 5 games overall against Colorado's been pretty good. This Colorado lineup's been pretty good against Merrill Kelly. And then you go down to Gray here, and Arizona's been pretty solid against him as well. So this one's really, really tough. I would lean the over 8.5 runs. Both bullpens are absolutely atrocious. I know these pitchers have a chance to get through the lineup, but you look at the 3-year weighted OPS, 765 for Gray, 728 for Kelly, potential for runs here. Both these teams are really bad where they're going to play. I would lean the Diamondbacks. They're just a little bit better at home than the Rockies are. Obviously, this game, I will never see a single pitch, play, or highlight from this game. I refuse to. But I would lean the over in this game. They should be able to score these lineup. And actually, Trevor Story profile is kind of nice. I know some people like those off-the-radar sort of home run props. You can get that big number. Trevor Story, for his career, 6 of 14 lifetime off Merrill Kelly. All 6 of his hits have gone for extra bases. 3 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs. He seems to hit the ball hard when he faces Kelly. So if you're looking for sort of a low, sort of a not in the spotlight home run prop, maybe Trevor Story, you'll probably get him plus 400 somewhere around that range. Could be nice tonight down there in Arizona.
Yeah, interesting one here. I know Arthur Pacheco said they're leaving free tickets on the windshields in Arizona. How's the old joke go? I left 2 tickets on my dashboard. Somebody broke in and left me 2 more. That's what it looks like tonight for the Diamondbacks game out there, because I don't know why you're watching, going to, or even caring about it when your NBA team has a chance to legitimately win a world championship here. We'll keep moving down the list. Only 2 games left that we're going to hit, because we're going to leave out the Yankee-Seattle game. Jason covered that pretty extensively already. But, Jason, I'm going to come to you on this one. 9:45 out on the West Coast tonight. St. Louis and San Francisco. Wainwright versus Cueto. Slight favorite here towards the home team. San Francisco Giants 131 to 135, depending on where you're shopping at. 8 across the board. Now, as we also take a look, we love weather conditions, right? As we like to take a look. How about this one? About 55 degrees when this game finishes up. Going to be a cold one out there on the West Coast. Jason, any thoughts?
Yeah, and that's why it makes it so hard, because on one hand, you have the Giants lineup. They've looked really good against righties in the last 30 days. You have Wade, Estrada, Yastrzemski, Dickerson, Crawford, Posey might be back in the lineup. That would be huge for that team. So they got a lot of guys with a lot of power against righties that can get to Wainwright, although Wainwright has looked really good. On the other hand, you have Cueto. He's looked awful in his last 30 days, but then, the Cardinals lineup has been pretty shaky, not very good, although they do have some power in that lineup if you look at it in a bigger sample size. So both teams kind of, profile well enough to be able to score runs, but like you said, the weather kind of hurts all of those chances and makes you stay away from that game. So, look at it, do what you got to do, but, I would probably stay away from this game, but the numbers would say over, although the weather says under.
You got it. Last game of the night. We'll talk about it again. We don't have much to go off of here, but I can't remember a game where we're anticipating, just put a starting pitcher out there, because the Washington lineup, you have to blink 3 times to make sure that in 2021 it really profiles this well. No real total, even though I do think MGM, I'm looking at them right now, they have a 9 on the board as a total. But, I don't know how you're going to bet it either way. You don't know who the start is. But, again, I don't think Washington's going to put a ace in tonight. I wouldn't think, if they're still undecided on who's actually going to be in the ball game. We'll see what comes out to be. But just preliminary thoughts on this Nationals-Padres game, Kyle. Yeah,
we sort of touched on. And real quick, I want to touch on one more thing, because I know the Mets are huge favorites when you have Anderson going against DeGrom, and that always works that way. And I'm seeing a lot of it in the chat box. I will say this, just for whatever it's worth. Jacob deGrom's last 3 starts against Milwaukee, he's had less fantasy points combined in those last 3 starts than he did in his last start when he let us down and gave up 3 runs in the first inning. He still put up 58 fantasy points in that game. In his last 3 games against Milwaukee, 27, 9, and 18. So I don't know what the hell it is. There's something in the water there, or when they play the Brewers, whatever the hell it is. But sometimes it could be a little weird. So before you start throwing your mortgage on the Mets and on Jacob deGrom, make sure that you just have that information before you get a little crazy on that. And in terms of the Washington Padres game, look, right now, again, we don't know who's going to pitch for the Padres. It's for the Nationals. Most likely going to be a bullpen thing here. Jason will have a good idea on that later. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything special. If they do that bullpen by committee, let's not forget the Padres bullpen, very overused bullpen this year, but they've been very, very good. The Nationals. God, I keep getting that backwards. But the Washington lineup, if you're going to bet something here, maybe do a little sprinkle on that team total because we talked about it. That lineup profiles very, very nicely. 6 hitters with a 55% rated 3-year advantage or better. I kind of like the Nationals here. I'm looking here. We don't have anything in the first 5 innings. If you're getting some plus money on the Nationals tonight, if that ends up being the case, I think it's worth a look. But again, we got to wait to see what's happening for the Padres from their pitching staff.
Yeah, I got a feeling I'll be including that in some way, shape, or form here, a team total for Washington in my play. We'll see what comes out and what those lines actually come out to be, because I can't imagine it's going to be over 4.5 at this point. Maybe like a 3.5 with some juice, because let's keep in mind, they still do have a decent bullpen in San Diego, and that is a pitcher's ballpark. And most people don't really look at that Washington lineup like, ooh, I really got to get in and take a look at it, because keep in mind, most people will say, I'm out. No Schwarber, I'm out. Not the case tonight, man. Not the case at all. So we'll see what pops up here. Let's clear the bases before we get out of here and round up this show. 375 people watching live. You guys are awesome. Thanks for checking in, and we like to have a lot of fun on this show, and you guys in the chat box absolutely get after it as well. Value menu wager play for me tonight, the Philadelphia Phillies team total, which sits at the MGM Sportsbook 4.5 minus 150. But my play of the day, 4.5 as a team total minus 155. A little bit juicy. But let's see if we can cash this one in. 27-11 on the season. Looking to go to 28-11 on my best bet and banker. Love the fact that Jason likes this one as well. Reds team total over 4.5 minus 155. We're getting it after it tonight, cashing this ticket and relaxing. Jason, value in your card and also best bet and banker.
Yep, the value will be the Yankees over 4.5 on the team total. That's at minus 145. Also sprinkled a little bit of money on the over 2.5 team total in the first 5 innings as well. So whichever one you guys can get on that if you want to tail there. Then obviously the big play will be the Reds over 4.5 on the team total at minus 155. Donnie and I spoke about this for like 10 minutes on the show. So no more analysis there. But again, love the Reds over 4.5 on the team total at minus 155.
The DFS Bachelor stepping up to the mic. Value and also best bets. Where are they at?
On that value menu, I'm going to go with those Texas Rangers over 4.5 minus 130. Urena is absolutely terrible. If they can't get 5 runs off that bullpen and that starting pitcher tonight, and if he throws a no-hitter, you all know some guy's going to win $1 million getting a no-hitter off of one of these terrible pitchers one of these days, and it's come close this year. My best bet, actually, let's go more on the value menu. People want the NBA picks. First of all, the Bucks are being disrespected at +6. Do I think the Suns win game 1? I do, but giving 6 points away. Giannis is now upgraded to questionable, so you could see him for a few minutes. I would be more apt to take the Suns if Giannis does play. I think that'll throw off some of the rhythm that they've actually had. I know that I don't have enough time to explain that to you all, but promise me it is true. If Giannis does try to come back and be limited, it will throw the Bucks off, and they will be a worse off team. If he sits out, I think they cover that 6 points. I also like DeAndre Ayton over 11.5 rebounds, minus 118. Brook Lopez, terrible rebounder. He's going to be out there on the 3-point line. You'll see them most likely transfer Jay Crowder out there on the perimeter and play that 2-3 zone or that 1-3-3 or that 1-2-3 or 1-2-2 zone that they like to play there in Phoenix. My best bet and banker, I love that Mets team total over 3.5 against Anderson. It's a little juiced up at minus 155. But when you just look at that lineup, even the lefties against the lefty profile nicely. Anderson, not great against lefties. Home run props, Pete Alonso, Lindor, I think they're both live tonight. I also like Joey Gallo quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, for that Mets, because I know we don't really give out first 5 team totals because it's not that widely available. It's funny that, locals mostly have those as well. That's not a bad look, even the Mets first 5 team total over, because that's really where that striking point's going to be out. That Mets lineup versus that pitching. So we'll see how that plays out as well. And also, I love the fact that Sabino in the chat box puts the, little squiggly mark over the end, Urania, and the fact that Kyle calls him Urina, just completely disrespecting him left and right, which is fantastic. But that's what we do here on the Major League Baseball show. The Urina out there, I'm like, this is great, and it just popped up in the chat box here, but it is what it is. But we had a great show here on a Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Back on a Wednesday tomorrow. A lot of picks today, a lot of action going out. Hey, enjoy your soccer bets if you have them. Enjoy your NBA bets tonight as well. But we are getting it after on the Major League Baseball card. And as I said, we will be back tomorrow. For Donnie RightSide, myself, Jason Radowitz, and also Kyle Purviance. We are the SportsBookReview.com Major League Baseball team, and this was your Major League Baseball team for Tuesday. Good luck on those wagers tonight.